I imagine you've heard of the new messaging app Signal. You know, the one that's taken over from WhatsApp. Everybody's migrated over to it. Well, Edward Snowden told us in 2013 that our governments wanted every opportunity to gain access to all of our privacy, all of our private lives. So I'm a little bit suspicious. So before we go any further, please smash the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and the little bell notification, and you'll always be notified when I upload a new video. So people say, if I've got nothing to hide, why should I care about my privacy so much? Why should I worry if companies and governments have access to my private information? I've got nothing to hide. And I get it. I kind of get it. But my point is, you try telling telling somebody who lives in an oppressive country, say in the Middle East, where Sharia law is the law, and being gay, for example, is illegal. You try telling them that their privacy doesn't matter. So when they want to message, when they're messaging people, and trying to, I don't know, to find a partner or to hook up with people or whatever it is that they're doing. Like, if the government finds that information, being gay in some countries is punishable by death. So what you tell those people their privacy doesn't matter? Do you think that that's the choice? Oh, well, you're born in that country, so you can't be gay. Surely not. So privacy does matter, because privacy depends on the people in power deciding, or not privacy, lack of privacy depends on the people in power deciding what's right and what's wrong. And they can always change that. When they've got access to your information, they can always change that. And it's always used against people. It's always, I mean, look at, for example, in China, you have journalists who are critical of the Chinese party, and they get disappeared. Now, a couple of things, like, number one, there's some of these journalists they're kind of guerrilla journalists. They do it all online, and they do it all kind of behind closed doors, and they release information. So how does the Chinese party get hold of that information? And then how do they kind of identify their views and what they're doing and where they are, and how do they get hold of them? That's what happens when people don't have privacy. That the correct option is that everybody has private information, their private lives, everything, what they do is private. That's where we need to start with this video. Before I start talking about the Signal app, that's what we need to, that's got to be the starting point, that people's privacy does matter. And so I guess we start at the beginning of our story, which was our social media platforms have lured us into a real false sense of security. We accept what they do and what they offer us, and we accept that we're going to give them some of our information because of the benefits that we get. We get huge benefits. And over time, Facebook and things like Facebook, Twitter, over time they increase the benefits, they increase things, kind of the pleasure that we got from using them. But then people started to trust them more. As more people started to use them, people started to trust the apps and trust the platforms, that they're a friend, not a foe. And that's how these sites and platforms and apps get you. They give you a real false sense of security. That's kind of what it is. And when people see other people using it, they think, oh, well, it must be safe. Everybody's using it. There's also FOMO, fear of missing out. People don't want to miss out on using these things. It adds to people's lives, apparently. So I know, like, I've got a family member I'm thinking of who never went on Facebook for a long time, because they said, well, I don't want people seeing what I'm doing. My privacy from other people, not just from corporations or from government, from other people, my privacy is important. Like, My private life's my private life, and then and and eventually, like I don't know if it's through fear of missing out or whatever, but they're on on social media now. It was just too much. It was too much seeing everybody else kind of in the party. So it was too much in the end. But then over time, these platforms started to ask for more information. What's your date of birth? What's your telephone number? What's this? What's that? Can you prove it? Like I had my account on one social media network blocked because they wanted to confirm my identity. So they asked me to upload some ID, and I didn't. I said, okay, well if that's the case, I'm not going to use the service then. And so I just left it. And after so many weeks of not using it, I thought I'm going to go and log back in and check and see what's going on. And I was able to log in, no problem. No request for ID, nothing. And it's because they don't want to lose the drones. They don't want to lose the batteries to their system. They don't want to lose access to you and your privacy. That's why it is. So I was able to just use the service again, no problem at all. And it's the benefit that these sites give us, the interconnectability, the communication levels that it gives us are just huge. They do offer us a huge personal benefit to using them. And so we ignore the risks, we become ignorant. We say, well, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really, I mean, what are they going to do with it? Maybe they can't be that bad. So they lure you in with the benefits, and then they slowly creep into your lives and start to ask you for more and start to push you to do things. I remember that Facebook as well was very free. You could do whatever you wanted on it. You could change things. You could you had a group, or you had this, or you had the other, and then over time, Facebook decided no, this is. So it used to be that Facebook would ask, do you like this? Do you like this? And try and tailor it to to what the people like. Now it's a case of no, this is the setup. This is how it works, and you follow our lead now, our drumbeat. So so there's a payoff, isn't there? There's a payoff of benefits against what are you giving up, or what are you losing? What are you endangering anyway? And I just think that maybe people don't care anymore. It is what it is. It's a payoff. It's a trade off. So then you had WhatsApp then come along, and WhatsApp was amazing. WhatsApp was incredible, honestly. Because what it did, it meant that you could make phone calls for free, voice calls, video calls. And so it destroyed the mobile phone industry to an extent. Like the network providers, they were charging quite a bit of money for phone calls for various things, and then WhatsApp comes along and gives you everything for free. Like the benefit of that made us blissfully ignorant. We accepted that. Well, it's not about accepting. It's saying I'm not interested about any bad things that can happen because the benefit is so great to me. And so to allow WhatsApp or anybody else to kind of to snoop on us it wasn't worried about. I'm not going to worry about that. We were all told it's end-to-end encryption and nothing can happen and wow, this is brilliant. And then Facebook took over WhatsApp, so they bought WhatsApp. And again, it looked like the expansion of a company, fine. It looked like maybe buying of a competitor, fine, because Facebook had Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp was outstripping it easily. People were happier to have that extra app, that extra line of defense almost. So they bought up a competitor. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. And it's only when WhatsApp recently, I think it was February 8th maybe, changed their privacy policy that people said, whoa, hang on a second. I think I might move now. And the reason was that WhatsApp said, we're now sharing all of your information from your WhatsApp account to Facebook. And it was the way that they did it was really kind of, it was a little bit sinister in that they didn't give anybody an option, or they didn't, they were quite brash about it. They were like, okay, we're changing our privacy policy about sharing your information with Facebook. You accept it, and if you don't accept it, you can't use our service any longer, which of course is fine. If that's like, that's the prerogative of a company, go for it. But it was just a little bit like, whoa, you're saying you're taking our private information and giving it to another company. Okay, that's interesting. So then people, when that happened, people said, okay, we're going to start looking for another service. And like, with regards to sharing information, I get the whole. So with Facebook, for example, they're the masters of sharing information, or of obtaining your information, then sharing that information, the demographic information, with advertising and things like that. And I get that payoff. I understand it. I've used the advertising function on Facebook, so I get it and I respect it, and I respect the game. I'm not going to hate on that game. But my issue comes with, where does it stop? Like, where, if it's for advertising purposes, fine, because it helps advertisers, it helps the user. Like, the adverts that are then targeted towards you, fine. They're like, it may be things that you like or you want, or so it can be beneficial. But the recent politicization of social media, where kind of the blocking and banning of so-called fake news, but actually it's just a political move. Because I've seen, especially recently, there's been some on Twitter that have been some messages that have been flagged as fake news or even taken down, and I know for a fact they're not. And it's up to where the evidence is provided. So it's kind of up to somebody to refute the evidence, but they don't. It's just taken down. And so it is kind of, it's almost a censorship at this stage. And so if that's happening, so if there is governmental political influence now on social media companies, then my concern is okay, so where is that information going? Where is the personal information going? It's not just going to the advertiser anymore. Maybe it's going further. So I just wanted to talk about the things that Facebook were going to share from WhatsApp over to Facebook, and it was quite extensive. So I got the information off a source online, off an article, and it said the data to be shared is now being shared, because after February the 8th, battery level, signal strength, app version. Now remember the app version, because I'm going to talk about that later in connection to Signal, to the Signal messaging app. Browser information, mobile network, connection info, including your phone number, mobile operator, and ISP. Language and time zone, IP address, and device operation. So what you do with your phone, I guess what apps you use, how you use them. Is it reading your messages on those apps? I don't know. That's the problem, is they're just bulk giving all the information. And what do they need all that information for? What do they need battery level for? What do they need signal strength for? That's the thing. Some of it looks really innocent, and you think, well, what are they going to do with that? Sure, they can have it, but then they lump in other parts like device operations info. So I don't know. It's like I say, in the modern times, it's a bit sinister now, in my opinion. So people then had to make a choice about where they're going to go after WhatsApp, and so the majority of people went to Telegram or Signal. Now Telegram has been around for a long time as an alternative, and it's already got a huge following, a huge platform. And I think that went to number 1 in the downloaded apps shortly after this announcement by WhatsApp. So that just shows how many people decided, right, I'm leaving. But then Signal popped up. It literally popped up out of nowhere. It popped up. one day it wasn't there, the next day it was there, and everybody was saying we're going to move to Signal. And that's kind of a bit of for me, that's a phenomena in these lockdown COVID times. There have been businesses that have just literally popped up from one day to the next, and everybody's using them. Where they just didn't exist previously, and kind of outstripping companies that are already in the market. Now, to me, that doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense, because traditionally what you do is if you're going to bring a new product to the market, you've got to compete with the current apps that are being used. You can't just come into the market and expect everybody to start using your product, unless you've got a way of suppressing the competition. I've just thought about that, actually. Maybe there was something along those lines. But the one that comes to mind that popped up and was just like, what? Why is everybody suddenly using this? Is Zoom. Like, Zoom just came out of nowhere during lockdown, and everybody's using Zoom. I don't understand how it became so successful when Skype does the same thing, and there's other alternatives as well. But when Skype does the same thing, but for free, and on Zoom you've got to pay. I mean, you get your free account if you want to just use 40 minute, whatever, in small groups. But for large groups, like Skype does the same thing, other apps do the same thing. So how did Zoom become so popular overnight? And the only way that you can do that is if you've got massive backing. I mean, it really makes me wonder, where did that come from? Like, if I wanted to do the same thing, bring a new app to market, I couldn't do it because I don't have the financial backing to propel my product, and it'd be very difficult to do it. Like, Skype's one of the most successful video apps, video call apps, and that sort of thing. It's one of the most successful. So I'm going to go and compete with that. And even if I've got huge financial backing, I'm going to struggle to compete because of familiarity, because people already use Skype, because it's so user-friendly, because it works, because nostalgia, people know the sound and all of these things. Like, I couldn't do it. I don't think I could get enough financial backing for it. It would be insane. So it makes me suspicious of why these businesses are suddenly like, boop, and they're there and everybody's using it. I think that somebody, or a hell of a lot of people, not a hell of a lot of people, a group of people wanted a hell of a lot of people to use Zoom. I think there's something about Zoom that is kind of a desire for people in power that for Zoom to be adopted. I really do. I think that's maybe there's something more to Zoom. And then similarly, that also makes me wonder about Signal. Like, why has Signal suddenly popped up, and why is Signal kind of the next? Why are people just using Signal now? I don't get it. I don't understand. Again, so again, is it the case that there's powerful people who want Signal to succeed over WhatsApp, over Telegram? I mean, they promise us on Signal that it's end-to-end encrypted and there's no middleman, so it's just device to device. So that's okay, fine. Like, that sounds cool, but how is it compete? How is it just compete? How is it out competing established alternatives? I mean, yeah, I understand that occasionally with these businesses, you do get one that just comes up and it just hits all the marks correctly, that people will adopt it very, very quickly. I get that, but Signal just came up too fast for me. it's like it's almost too convenient. So 1 minute everybody's saying, well, we're going to leave WhatsApp now, and suddenly Signal pops up. Ah, we're your privacy app now. We're not going to share your information with anybody. Please come to Signal. And it was like that. It was so convenient that it just popped up. And then not only that, but it's also convenient that if you go to their website, on their homepage, it's endorsed by people such as Edward Snowden, the king of privacy. The king of privacy himself has endorsed Signal app. Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, one of the smartest minds, he's endorsing it. Wow, it must be good. And Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter. Hang on a second. Jack Dorsey's endorsing it. Hang on. I've got a few alarm bells going off. If Jack Dorsey's endorsing it and saying how good it is for privacy and for messaging and maybe there's something more to it that's not so great. I mean, Jack Dorsey, he's, as a CEO of a tech company, he's one of the most duplicitous little weasels out there. Because nothing he says he's for me, being a person of your word is really important. You say something, you do it. You say something, you're going to follow through. But nothing he says, he's continuously said that there's Twitter's going to try better. Twitter's going to be better. It's going to treat people fairer. And it never does. It gets worse. And he's had multiple of these interviews and these discussions that you can find online. Joe Rogan was a great one where they said that they were going to do better. And it never happens. And so he's just the mouthpiece for the company, for the organisation, I believe, to just placate people. They want to hear the sound bites of we're going to do better, we're going to try harder. But they never do. So he's, at this stage, it's because he's complicit. He's not stupid, but he knows the game. So when he endorsed the app, for me, it lost credibility. Like I was, all the people who were saying to me, "Oh, you on Signal app? Like, let's connect on on the app." And I was like, I'd say to them, "But it's endorsed by Jack Dorsey. Do you not see a problem with that? Like, what's his vested interest in it?" And what's the vested interest of the other people, to be fair? Like, why would you, unless he's an investor, I don't know, but why would you, as a big name with a reputation of anybody, why would you put your name to something? Why would you say, that's a great app and I really love it and I think you should use it? Like, what? Why would you do that? And then, I mean, even Elon Musk and even Edward Snowden, like, why would they endorse a business if they didn't have any interest in it, if they had no vested interest at all? What, because out the kindness of their own heart? Yeah, sure. No, go on, use my endorsement. Go on, like, use my quote. I endorse it. Go on. No, I like you. You're a good guy. You're a good app. Go on, out the kindness of their heart. These business people. Come on. So the question is, were they paid? Knowing that people will trust what they say, that people trust their word. Were they paid? I think it's and if not, what is, if I put it to them, were you paid to endorse Signal app? And they said no. Then my next question would be, well, why have you, like, what are you getting out of the endorsement? What are you getting out of a profit-making company who will make profit out of your endorsement? What are you getting out of it? These are business people. They don't do anything for free. What are you getting out of it? Jack? Elon? What are you getting out of it? Edward Snowden. I'm surprised at you, but what are you getting out of it? See, if they were investors, if they'd got shares, then that might be it. Were they paid? That might be it. But they're not doing it for free, I'm telling you. That's not how the world spins. So I just want to talk a little bit now about Signal and about Telegram. So, like I said to you, my experience, like I said to you, I've used Telegram for quite a while now, just as an alternative to WhatsApp. I like to explore different apps and things. And Telegram, there's something about the way it's the user experience, that I'm not too sure about. It's not simple enough. I think that's what it is. I think it's the complexity, because they also have like groups. So whereas WhatsApp's pure messaging, I know you have groups on WhatsApp, but my point is the way it's done on Telegram is on WhatsApp you would have your contacts that you speak to and do messages with. Fine. On Telegram you've kind of got causes, organisations, companies, brands, famous people with their group, and then they post onto that group, and you'll have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in that group. So it becomes rather noisy for me, where it seems to be a lot of people talking, a lot of people posting, a lot of things posted, and it's just a bit much to have that and my normal messages with people. It becomes a bit much. So every time they post something on one of these groups, it goes to the top, and it just seems a bit much. So Telegram, fine. I thought it was an okay app, and I thought it was quite cool. Used it for a long time, but like I say, the user experience is a bit suspect. I'm not sure. And then Signal. So I've got a Signal account, but I've only got a couple of people. Maybe I think I've got literally two people who wanted to go on Signal app. So I just connected with them on there, and the user experience there is very good. It's very good. It's very simple. It does what it says on the tin. It's got a few privacy features, which I can't help but feel a kind of like a facade of, look at us, we're the privacy app. So it's got those features of privacy and all of that. So it looks great. On the surface, it looks great. But I'm still suspicious. I can't help but be suspicious. Because look at the people who are endorsing it and why they're endorsing it and how it just popped up out of nowhere. So then it takes me on to, I thought I'd do a bit of research. So I looked up a Forbes article, or I searched online about Signal being safe and everything else, and I got a Forbes article. And the article's called, "Can the FBI hack into a private Signal message on a locked iPhone? Evidence indicates yes." So I thought Signal was supposed to be unhackable and kind of your messages are safe and everything else. Weird. And the article talks about a court case where Forbes obtained information from the court case. That the information was showing that the FBI were able to access Signal messages on an iPhone when it was locked, which shouldn't be able to be done, surely. Because we're told that it's safe, so people aren't supposed to be able to get in without you being out. And so sure, like what? So everybody out there believes that everything's private and everything, and all of their information's secure. But this article is saying something different. And when you delve into the article a bit more, it says that the messages were decrypted in AFU mode. And AFU mode is after first unlock of the iPhone. And what it means is when you unlock your phone, after first unlock is when you've unlocked your phone and then you just turn the phone off and you put it in your pocket like that. And that's after first unlock, and it becomes more vulnerable at that stage. In that in that mode, it becomes more vulnerable. And so what the article says then is that the phone was hacked in that mode, in that stage, in that. But surely, like, if you've switched your phone off, if you've unlocked your phone, even if you switch it off, you've got to unlock it again. So that, to me, again, seems really suspicious. The court case, again, the caveat was that the models in question were the iPhone 11 and the iPhone SE second generation. And I believe that's what I've got. So for me, that's the only evidence was that it was used on those phones, iPhone 11, iPhone SE second generation, and there's no evidence that any other phones are able to be accessed in the same way. I would imagine that they are. I imagine all of the iPhones, like the later generation ones, I believe that they would all have that vulnerability. And I'll tell you after what, but I actually think it's built in. I think that those vulnerabilities are actually built in. So just reading a little bit from the article, a Signal spokesperson said, from Signal, this is the app, this is the privacy app, this is the app that nobody can do anything with, that nobody can, it's private, like forget WhatsApp, this is the one you want to go to, guys. A Signal spokesperson said, if someone is in physical possession of a device and can exploit an unpatched Apple or Google operating system vulnerability in order to partially or fully bypass the lock screen on Android or iOS, they can then interact with the device as though they are its owner. Think about that for a moment. Think about that. And then they said, keeping devices up to date and choosing a strong lock screen passcode can help protect information if a device is lost or stolen. Keep your device up to date. So that means have the latest version of the app updated on your phone. Hang on a second. Where did we see the version of the app mentioned in this video before? And it said the data to be shared is now being shared, because after February the 8th, battery level, signal strength, app version. Where I mentioned it was the information that WhatsApp was giving to Facebook about the app version. So you go, oh, well, what are they going to do with the app version? Well, if you're a hacker and you do a blanket sweep of a load of devices to see, and then just collect the devices that have got the specific app version that has the vulnerability, then you know who you're going to hack, don't you? Simple. And so my suspicion is, it's saying on here only if you're in possession of the physical phone. My suspicion is you don't need the physical phone. If there's that vulnerability, you don't need that phone. Trust me. If it's unlocked, as soon as your phone is unlocked, if it's connected to the internet, somebody will be able to get into it. 100%. So then, kind of, I asked the question, how did the FBI hack into the phone? Because it's interesting. I mean, you've got to think so the FBI hacking people's phones for a start, and so it won't just be the FBI. It'll be a lot of authority organisations around the world in whatever country. But then there's the next bit in the article talks about grey key versus Celebrite, and I'm just going to read it and kind of comment a little bit. But these are kind of hacker tools basically that they use. It says forensic exploitation of devices affects any encrypted communications app from WhatsApp to Wicker, not just Signal. What is apparent is that the government has a tool that can bypass encryption. Let me just read that again. What is apparent is that the government has a tool that can bypass encryption to get into what most people would assume are private messages. The question remains, what is the tool? It's likely to be one of two popular iPhone forensics tools used by the FBI, the Grey Key or the Celebrite UFED. The government has a tool that can bypass encryption. Grey Key, a tool created by Atlanta-based startup Grayshift, has been an increasingly popular choice for the FBI. The agency has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on acquiring the device, which starts in price from $9,995. When Forbes obtained a leaked recording of Grayshift CEO David Miles talking in mid-2019, he said that his company's tech could get almost everything on an iPhone in AFU mode after first unlock. Vladimir Katalov, founder of Russian forensics company Elkomsoft, said he believed Grey Key was the tool in use in the New York case. It uses some very advanced approach using hardware vulnerabilities, he hypothesized. Grayshift hadn't responded to requests for a comment at the time of publication. Celebrite, an established Israeli forensics tech provider, has long served American law enforcement. Not to comment on specific customers or uses of our technology, but added that law enforcement agencies are seeing a rapid rise in the adoption of highly encrypted apps like Signal by criminals who wish to communicate, send attachments, and make illegal deals they want to keep discreet and out of sight from law enforcement. Okay, justification. In December, Celebrite indicated it had developed advanced techniques to bypass Signal encryption. Though Signal issued a statement lambasting not just the company but media reports that had repeated Celebrite's claims, in a blog post, Signal said all Celebrite had done was pass Signal on an Android device that they physically have with the screen unlocked. This is a situation where someone is holding an unlocked phone in their hands and could simply open the app to look at the messages in it. Their post was about doing the same thing programmatically, which is equally simple. When Signal co-founder Moxie Marlinspike commented on the Celebrite claims in December, he called it amateur hour. And the article then finishes off, whatever the tool the FBI used in the New York case, they're far from amateur. So you've got to realise that any technology these days is controlled. It's everything that we do is everything that we've got access to is controlled, and we're not allowed to have anything. We're led to believe that everything we use is free and it's private and everything else, and we don't live in a free society with everything being private. It doesn't exist anymore. And I can't help but be suspicious that these devices have these back doors built into them for exactly this reason, to allow authorities to access whenever they want, whenever they feel like it. So your phone, just think about it for a moment, your phone has back doors built into them. And what happens is that the government lobbies for or threatens to lobby for laws that are going to restrict these companies if they don't play ball and if they don't leave the back doors in. So another point is when people complain about the large corporations not paying tax, there's a reason why they're allowed to not pay tax. It's because they play ball, they play the game. They give information, they allow access. And that's what's happening. There's no privacy now at all. Like, don't think that Signal is a safe app or any other app. The only way that messaging apps can be safe is using PGP key encryption, because it's the person that's responsible for unlocking messages, and it's only between the two individuals, so it can't be hacked, or it can't be decrypted or anything like that. So I'll put a link to Keybase in the description, which is an app alternative. Keybase uses PGP encryption, and you can use that on any app. Like, you can use Keybase's PGP encryption across all of your apps if you wanted to send messages that you wanted to be private and unreadable. So this just makes me go back to the suspicion of the endorsement from Jack Dorsey and the other big names. It just, like, reading this article, it makes me just shake my head that this is one big game to them, one big game of control and being able to read into people's lives and being able to control what happens. And if you have enough people endorsing it, trusted people endorse it, and then you have enough people using it and believing it's safe, they'll trust it as they do with Facebook and WhatsApp. And Facebook and WhatsApp are harvesting your private information. So that's going to happen with Signal. That it may be happening with Signal, but it's going to happen that these devices aren't private. These devices aren't. They're not safe. They're not safe. If you accept to use them, you accept that your kind of your life and your information is not your own. It's when you look at your phone, when you're scrolling through social media on your phone, and you've just talked about something, and you see an advert for it on your phone. It's things like that. It's listening to you at all times. There's nothing you can do about it. So Signal, in my opinion, Signal's not safe, and it's just these backdoors that are built into the devices to be able to access these apps. See, it's like it's part of the construction of the app. Is the backdoor? The backdoor on the devices is part of the construction of these apps. The apps are created with the backdoor in mind. It's all there. It's all there, and they're built to be exploited by sponsored hackers. Because that's what happens. The governments employ sponsored hackers to do this job for them. You've got hackers working for government now. And what it reminds me of is hackers these days are like modern privateers who are actually pirates. But they used to be called privateers because the state would pay a pirate to go and attack. So a British pirate, go and attack a Spanish colony in the Americas and bring back the spoils to us, and we give you a cut of the profit. Bring us back gold and we'll give you a cut. That's what hackers are these days. It's the state are employing these people to create products that have backdoors, and then the privateers, the hackers, are able to get in. And kind of, it's my belief that the governments have never had the best interests at heart of the population. Never. They never have. They never will. It doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter what political system that you subscribe to, that you enjoy, that you like the sound of. They will never have the best interests of the population at heart. The issue now is that they've got more methods of control than they've ever had. Previously, slavery was done physically in chains, and it's now done psychologically, mentally. It's a much more sophisticated game that they're playing now. We're just their worker bees. We're just what props up their lives and their system. And so I mean, I guess all I ask is that you kind of stay vigilant, stay knowing what's really going on. Don't allow yourself to be put at risk. Because, as I say, your information, your privacy, it doesn't just go for what it's supposed to be for. It goes much wider. For example, another really good example: how many scam text messages do you have? How many scam emails do you have saying that it's from your bank, or it's from your insurance company, or it's from a tax refund, or it's from your cable provider, and if you don't pay, it's going to get cut off, or this or that, and it looks so legitimate. It looks like it's from one of these entities that you bank with, pay for a service from. Where do you think they get your details from? Where do you think they get your details of that service? How do they know that you've got a service with that company? And I'll leave you with that. You have a think about it. Thank you very much. It's just important. The modern times, it's an important thing that we're going through at the moment, because the normal people are losing a lot of their rights. Constitutions and parliaments and congresses and senates and all of this no longer seem to matter. The people at the top don't seem to care anymore. They don't care. Like, they don't care that they're blatantly flaunting those kind of rights that we thought that we had. They don't care that we see that anymore. So it's a strange time that we're living in. You've just got to try and stay safe and stay happy. Try not to let it affect you too much. Just make the right decisions. That's all. Because happiness, personal growth, personal development, happiness are the most important things. Your family, your friends, enjoying life. Those are the most important things. Don't get caught up in technology so much. You need to let go a little bit. So thank you very much for accompanying me again. As always, I've got a little bit of cold coffee left. Next week, come along. Every Friday and Saturday, I'll release a new video. Every Friday or Saturday, I'll release a new video. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you know people who need to hear about the things that I talk about, then please share, because that'll help me to grow a little bit and grow a little bit faster. But I'm really appreciative. I hope you've had a great week. Hope you have a great weekend. Whatever you're doing, enjoy yourselves. Enjoy this beautiful life that we've been given. Next week, grab yourself a drink, come and sit down, and let's talk. Thank you very much. Cheers. Ugh.